Hello and welcome to Profiles in Risk. This is your host, Tony Cañas. And today I have with me Cyrus Jaffery, founder and CEO at Quotamation. We met at Inditech, which has now moved from Indianapolis to Florida, I believe.
Yeah.
But solid conference, great up and coming conferences for independent agents when it comes to technology. So, Cyrus, thank you for joining me today. How's it going?
Hey, Tony, thanks for having me, man. It is going
My
really,
pleasure.
really well.
Awesome. And we're recording on February 4th, shortly after Groundhog Day, and the
Uh-huh.
rodent saw its shadow, which has no effect on me here in Atlanta, Georgia, where it's 75 today. But you're in the Midwest, so Omaha,
I,
I'm guessing, is a big ice cube right now.
you know what's awesome is not awesome and not awesome. It was 40 degrees yesterday morning when I woke up to work out
Not
5
bad.
a.m. This morning I woke up and it was 1 degree. So it's cold. Within 24 hours, it went from like 50 to 1.
That's
So
the
that,
Midwest. I spent 10 years in Iowa, so very
yep.
familiar with that area of the world. So good luck to you guys for the rest of the 6 months of winter. So we always give the guest a chance to give the elevator pitch.
Yeah.
What is quotamation?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. So Quotamation, we built it because we are on the insurance agency side as well, and we built it for ourselves. To be honest with you, to begin with, Quotamation is a tool to make it super easy for the consumer and the agents to do home and auto quotes. It's for personalized insurance agencies. Within 60 seconds, pulls drivers, vehicles, VIN numbers. It looks really nice. We spend a lot of money on the UI side of things. So it's a consumer facing, the agent facing. It's just going to make insurance agents' life so much easier when it comes to quoting home and auto insurance, and it literally takes 60 seconds.
Okay, so basically, I've never been an agent. I came from the carrier side, but basically, the phone rings or somebody walks in, needing a quote. It's basically we just need your name and driver's license. We can pull everything else.
100, and even driver's license, we can pull driver's license as well. So it's basically in some capacity, like we're not trying to be a CRM by any means, but in some capacity, it's the front end for an agent when it comes to prospecting from start to finish, from when they become until they become a client. And then from a consumer standpoint on your website, it's a white label product you can add onto your website. So you can drive a lot of consumers inside of it. They can go in within 30 seconds, just plug in first name, last name, date of birth, address of their house, all the data pulls, and they can basically get quotes within 60 seconds. So we call ourselves, we're like the online Geico, online Progressive, online Lemonade, where you can get a quote really quick, a rater almost, but it looks really nice and it's labeled to your agency. It's made for the independent agents to make the consumer's life easier to work with you and help the independent agents sell more business.
Okay, are the quotes all bindable, or that depends on the carrier? Kind of what's the state of that for now?
Yeah, honestly, we do have an RC3 to where the agents, like, we have some relationships in the car dealership space where we have given RC3 capabilities in some capacity, but we don't like that a lot, Tony. We want the consumer to get home and auto quotes potentially with coverages that your agency sells. But we want them to talk to you. We still want them to have a conversation with you, talk about how why you should have an umbrella policy, why you should have backup of sewer, why you should have personal property replacement cost coverage for your homeowner's insurance. So we do have capabilities of an RC3 to where you can bind the policy from a consumer standpoint, but we don't have that readily available right now for the agents because we want to get it to a point to where the consumer is super interested, and then have your team get involved to be able to do the rest.
Okay, so basically, as an agent, my marketing, SEO spend, etc., gets them to my website. You provide us a beautiful white label experience that very quickly gets the information. And what happens then? Does it
Yeah,
tell them that I'm going to give them a call, or
yeah.
what happens at that? How does that handoff of the customer to my producer happen?
Yeah, so what we do is, and we did a lot of research on this. What we've done is to where once we get him quoted, let's say it's 10 carriers for home and auto, it shows the consumer and says, hey, you got great quotes. Somebody from our office will reach out to you within 24 hours, or you can call our office right now to bind this policy. A licensed insurance agent will have a conversation with you. Then they get an email that says, hey, here are your quotes. Thank you for getting quotes from us. We're looking forward to working with you. One of our agents will reach out within 24 hours, and then the consumer gets the PDF of those quotes as well. And then they get a communication from them tagging the agent as well. And then that's where the communication kind of goes. So agent takes it, calls them. You pretty much have 90% of the information that you need from the client. You have the VIN number, you have the house information, you have the roof age and all that stuff that the consumer put because a lot of that stuff pulls up. And then you're able to, your conversation is not so much, Tony, hey, what's your driver's license number? What's your VIN number? Hey, how big is your house? What's the square footage? Do you have a backyard? Do you have a fence? Do you have a pool? Do you have a trampoline? Like all that stuff is automatically pulled in with technology that we have that pulls all the data. So your conversation, well, Mr. Klein, hey, what do you do for a living? That's awesome. How's that going? Hey, do you like Nebraska football? You're building connections with the consumer versus taking those 30, 45 minutes to gather information, which the client doesn't want to give you that. They don't want to waste 30 to 45 minutes giving you VIN numbers and deck pages and all that stuff. So we were closing a way lower percentage when we were doing that versus now we're just building connections and then giving them the best deal, and our conversion ratio has gone up 30% as our agency.
Okay, so you built it for yourselves basically, and conversion rate went up 30%, and you're like, this makes sense. I'm gonna take this on the
Yeah.
road, offer it to the rest of the independent agency community.
Yeah, it wasn't our idea to do that, man. We built it because I looked everywhere. Nothing existed because I looked at this 3 years ago and I said, dude, in the next 5 years, we work with a lot of millennials and Gen Zs. Dude, no, none of those people are gonna go call your office to be like, hey, I'm looking for a quote. Here's my VIN number. I want 100, 300. Here's my wife's information. My house is 23. Like, they're not going to do that. As we see the trends, everybody's going online. They want things quick, fast, and they want to go on their way. But if something happens, we've done the research on this, they want to talk to a licensed person that says, hey, you have a claim, your house is burning, you got in a car accident, I got you, I'm going to take care of you. So we want to work with the millennials and then James, we want to make their life easier. And I saw that 3 years ago. There's nothing existent online. Every agency I talked to was like, yeah, they go into a form, they plug in their information, and then a week later, somebody calls them and say, hey, you filled the form for our website. I'm going to give you some home and auto quote. They're like, I have no idea. I filled in many forms. Like, so the way that people were getting quotes from an agency standpoint, a lot of your Geicos and Progressives and Lemonades and these people that are online direct to consumer were winning. We wanted to create that for the agency force, for the independent agents to compete with those, but at the same time, white label yourself, sell yourself. So we're given the same technology that those very high-end agencies, online tech platforms have in the hands of the insurance agents to make their life easier. So, and I think you asked a question, where does the data go? So once the consumer gets all that done, all that data is going to go into your management system or agency Zoom or whatever you use for a CRM perspective, and then you can kind of take it from there. So we send all the data where it needs to go.
Yeah, so yeah, that leads me to my next question. What is the integration like? So if I bring you guys in, right, I've got an AMS and some other tools. How do, how does it integrate into it, and how long does that take?
Yeah, so we connected with the company that gave us direct APIs for a lot of the carriers, an open API. So we're able to kind of go wherever. Now there's gonna be some, obviously your easy links and your vertiforms and some of the other ones we're going to directly. Right now we're directly already like if you have easy links automatically because that's what we had. It basically all you had to do was as long as you had to use EasyLinks ID, you have your own ID. You don't have to be a part of my brokerage, and obviously right under our name or anything like that. It's your own business. You own your data and all that stuff, and it directly goes into EasyLinks right now. It's going to directly go into Vertafore. It's going to directly go to Hawksoft. It's going to direct integration with agencies Zoom because we will be an open API that's going to be able to go to wherever it needs to go to.
Okay. What is the pricing like?
Yeah, so um It's funny because we're just about to in about a week, I guess, and I'm assuming this podcast probably won't go live for another week. But
Mm.
and if it does, no big deal at all. So right now our pricing is 199. It's 199 a month to have access to this white label. It's got your colors. It just looks really really clean. When you get a chance, Tony, just go to quotamation.com and just kind of go through the workflow. It just looks really clean and nice. The consumer trusts you versus some of the raters we've seen from these large management systems that have raters. I mean, it just looks terrible. You lose trust when you go online and you put that on your website for people to go online and get a quote. It just doesn't look very nice, and that was kind of a big thing for us, is because UI is so big now when it comes to technology, because things just need to look nice for it to work. So it's 199 a month right now, but what we did in the last year, since like a lot of raters almost like shut down in some capacity, right? Because a lot of carriers, especially in the Midwest and some of the tougher states, they pulled from the raters because they didn't want to write a ton of business from an insurance company standpoint. So we have taken in the last year, honestly, to build the back end of this more like a score feature of Quotamation. So basically you can track how many calls, how many texts, how many referral partners, and all that stuff that your team is working on, and what's their premium, what do the trends look like, where's the prospect coming from, how many leads did this person send. So by no means like a full-on CRM portion of it, but from a start to finish, where a consumer comes in, where did it come from, did you call them, did you get a hold of them, and then every agent's closing percentage based on where the lead kind of came from. So it kind of gives your agency, I can go at the end of the night and go look at the closing ratio for the week, for the day, for every agent. I've got 13 agents that write business in our organization. So I can get a full picture of what's going on in my agency. And we have 4 or 5 TVs in our office, big TVs. So we built the thing to where we know every one of our agents are responsible for calls, text, emails per day, and this many quotes, this much premium, and it kind of ranks them based on who made the most calls, who had the most premium, and all that stuff. Kind of builds a little bit of a competition for them as well. So we built a scoreboard feature of this, and then we also built basically a little bit of a CRM portion of it as well, which we are just going live with that in the market. There's about 10 agencies using it right now. We've had some really, really good feedback off of it. So that's going to be about $49.99 is what we're thinking is that feature of it as well, if they want to use it, or they just want to use the rater piece of it. It's just $199.
Okay, and it doesn't. There's no limit on the number of users. It's
No.
agency.
Yeah, it's $199 right now. At $199 unlimited users, absolutely.
Fantastic. What if I have multiple locations?
Yeah, so multiple locations, as long as the agency is the same EIN number, we're okay with that.
All right, so it is quite well priced. The so one of the beauties of tools developed by us rather than by tech people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for us, honestly, Tony, like I'm in this industry to make a difference, man. I'm doing just fine with my agency. I don't need the money from Quotamation, but I enjoy what I'm doing. I saw the impact it made on agents. I saw the impact it made on my agency and my team. Every team member has made more money because all they're doing is having conversations, closing deals, having conversations, closing deals. Like they're not chasing people because we've made our social media really nice. A lot of traffic goes inside of that. And then inside of Quotamation comes to our agents. Our agents have 90% of the data. They're not chasing them for driver's license and date of births and VIN numbers that the consumer didn't have or forgot, any of that. So it just makes your agency so much more efficient to be able to just do what you're really good at, man. Having connections with the people, close the deal, make more money from an agency standpoint. So yeah, pricing is really good right now because we feel like we can make an impact at this point. Now, obviously, you understand you've been doing this for a long time on this podcast. You talked a lot. Now, to build an insurtech product at this level, it's really, really expensive, right? It takes a lot of developing time to build a product like this. So I don't know what the future holds, I guess, but for right now, it's $199. We wanted to do that until we have a certain amount of users inside of our platform, and then see what the pricing makes sense at that time. But we're in the very early phases of this. And we wanted to make sure we get a lot of feedback from people and to get them to use it, give us some feedback. If for some reason you don't like it, I wanted to make sure There's never going to be a contract with us. Like, I don't want to put people in a 3-year contract where like, oh, I can't get out. I got to keep paying these guys. I hate that. I've used so many products where like, dang it, dude, I'm in a contract now. I can't get out. I don't even like the product. Like, we never want to be that. But at the same time, I know investors like that to where they know exactly how much money is coming in and all that. So I understand that piece of it. But this is not a make a lot of money and then sell it to somebody big kind of mentality. This is truly to make an impact.
Absolutely love that, and it, it's reflective of a lot of the conversations I've had with agents who have built tools. This idea of no long term commitments is very much because you've dealt with it
I hate it,
as a
man.
user, as a buyer.
Especially if the product is not what's good for your agency. Like if the product is great and you're negotiating and stuff, you should give the people to negotiate a little bit. But if you're not even using the product to be stuck in a contract that's thousands of dollars, I mean, it's just not the right thing for the industry and the people that are doing it. Honestly, I'm not a fan of those people. Absolutely.
All right. Um, what kind of agencies are kind of a perfect fit for you guys, other than personal lines, and what kind of agencies are probably not a great fit?
That's a great question. So we're a heavy personalized agency, which is why we built this for personalized. Now, will we get to commercial at one point? I mean, commercial is a different beast, right? And maybe we will at one point, but right now it's personalized only. So number one, you got to be a heavy personalized agency, and number two, you got to be honestly an agency that's writing a lot of new business because this is a tool for new business to generate new business to your organization. So if you're not writing a lot of new business, if you don't have 4 or 5 maybe users that you could put a little bit of a competition within your agency to get people to do a little bit more, it might not be a good fit for you. And if you're not one of those companies maybe that is trying to use social media or SEO or something to drive a lot of traffic inside of your website to generate more back to you, this is probably not for you as well. And I don't want people that, and we were very upfront about that, we're like, hey, try this. If it works, great. If it doesn't, no problem, no problem at all. Just let us know and we'll work something out. So I would say those 3 characteristics of an agency fits really well with us. If you've got 10 agents, man, inside of an agency, and you're getting a lot of your leads from maybe mortgage lenders, real estate agents, financial advisors, and you can basically give them the ability to go get the quotes themselves in 30 to 60 seconds for their client. It directly comes to you. We do that with a lot of mortgage lenders, a lot of teams. You can white label it, put their logos on there and stuff like that to make it really cool. Some large referral partners that you have. So this is a technology to where, think about it. If you work with a lot of realtors and mortgage officers, it's a Saturday afternoon, Saturday. Now we get this all the time. Hey, I got a client. They work Saturdays. You guys know that. You don't work on Saturdays, most insurance agents. So a lot of those people are like, hey, I've got this open house, this person come in. I just want to know what the rate would be on a homeowner's insurance on this, right? If they have a ability to quotamation, hey, go to my website, jaffreyinsurance.com, click on get a quote. Within 60 seconds, you'll know what the rate would be on it. So to be able to give them, and then also car dealerships, right? On a Saturday, they sell a lot of cars. If you have some relationships in the car dealerships, to be able to get this to them, to be able to get the quote 90% done, put the new VIN number of the car, to be able to close, and then all you have to do potentially is just get on a call real quick, take payment, and move on. That's your thing versus sitting inside of a dealership all day or in an open house with mortgage lenders, real estate agents. So I would say those are probably some that we've had a lot of success with.
Fantastic. So I always ask kind of what's coming in the future of the product that you can already talk about. You already talked about the new scoreboard feature that's launching. Anything else for the rest of 2025 that you're excited about, which is new features?
Yeah, I would say to add on that new feature of the scoreboard, I feel like what I love is when I go to places and they have cool technologies and visuals and there's team camaraderie and everybody's kind of picking each other up, that kind of environment, right? and one of the features that's inside of our scoreboard feature that we have right now is a celebration. Anytime somebody puts in premium or a quote, which is revenue generating things for your agency, a big loud noise with a celebration goes off, and it like goes on all the TVs, and everyone's like, oh cool, like, so it's like we're celebrating somebody who just put in a quote or premium, and that feature of it is probably one of my favorite. It just launched, and I'm sitting here hanging out, and I hear the boom boom boom, oh cool, somebody wrote some policies, and we kind of celebrated each other, if that makes sense, which makes it really fun. And then the other feature inside of that for me that just came live was I was very intrigued. I could never find this. I was really intrigued on everybody's exact closing ratio. Like, how many are you quoting? And out of that quoting, how many did you win or lost, right? Like, that's kind of the biggest things in an agency that you want to know. And then how many are just they're prospecting, they turned into quoting. Those are the two that are really important to me as an agency owner. And for me to know exactly how many they're quoting, and for the week or the month or the year, exactly what each agent's closing percentage is, it really gives me the upper end to go to my agent and say, hey, your closing ratio is 22% for the same lead source versus this agent is at 50%. Maybe we need to go to Vonage and listen to the calls to see maybe you're not doing really good on your closing calls. So we can work on our team members, man, that are struggling in some places that in the past we could never figure out
You didn't have the
exactly.
data.
We have the data to be able to go back. We obviously can listen to calls and coach people, and the ones that are doing really well, that's awesome. Let's teach the ones that are not doing really well as well. So those are some things, and as far as a feature goes, that are super 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 exciting for us. And then in the next month, our direct APIs to where we can honestly connect. We're pretty much going to be an open API feature to where we're going to be able to basically connect with anywhere you want the data to go. So you start in Quotamation first, somebody got a quote, where do you want it to go? Agency Zoom, Vertifor, AMS, Hawksoft, wherever that you want it to go to, or Salesforce, right? People use many different places that you want the data to go to. Our Quotamation is going to be able to do that. And then last but not least, we are going to integrate is a like an AI feature inside of Quotamation to where you can pretty much go into Quotamation and then just put in pick a client and then just say, hey, give me a last year update on this client, and then basically boom boom boom. Phil called this person 6 months ago. They quoted them. We're more expensive. They went with State Farm for 1,400. They're about to renew here in 3 months. It kind of gives you a synopsis of what's really going on with this consumer and how can we win these people back, because we spend a lot of money to get them to a quoting phase of our agency. And a lot of agencies, I would say 95, 96% of agencies, once they close the deal or once they lose the deal, they don't do anything with that client. So how can we use technology to be able to either connect in a lot better in a 7, 8, 10 step onboarding process with the consumer we brought on, or the one that we lost, what's the step look like? What's the campaign look like? What are we gonna be able to get them back, if that makes sense? So those are some features that are coming very soon with Quotamation that I feel like is going to really change the game for us from a new business and prospecting perspective of an insurance agent.
Very exciting. Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Uh, Cyrus, thank you so much for your time today. When this goes live, I'll tag both you and the company on LinkedIn. Uh, and yeah, always a fan of tools developed by the insurance community because they've identified a real need in their job and then make them available to everybody else. So thank you.
Absolutely, Tony. I absolutely love talking about this.